Hello and welcome to highlights of the Sheffield Grand Prix. This race was last held in 2019, but it's back bigger and better for this year. Das Hansling and Pro Noctis Heidi Kjeldsen 200 Degrees Coffee took control of the front of the race early on, and they've been the two strongest teams of the circuit series up to this point, and a familiar pattern has been that no move will stick unless it has good representation from both teams. In fact, at one point in the first few laps, the two combined teams covered the entire front of the peloton. With the order of the day established, they started to ramp up the pace and attempt to deter any attacks. However, that uneasy truce was broken as Alba Development road teams Ariane Holland and Sophie Enever took it in turns to attack up the slight rise to the finish, and the peloton was stretched to breaking point over the next few laps by the strength of those three teams: Das Hansling, Alba Development road team and Pro Noctis. Lucy Lee was the first person to finally break clear, attacking up the small rise to the finish, but she didn't quite have the power to get away. Hutchison Brother UK were hot on her heels. After 15 minutes, a lull in the pace saw Emma Jeffers of Das Hansling go clear. She's last year's series winner, and she seized the initiative to go solo. She did get a small gap, but the move never gained more than a handful of seconds, and it was destined to be short-lived. She was reeled back in a lap later. The riders were really motoring along the back end of the circuit, even going along the same pace as the cars there. As the race approached the halfway mark, Monica Greenwood launched a stinging attack from the front of the bunch, powering up the finishing straight, and the only rider able to hold her wheel was Amy Gornall a few metres behind, desperately trying to get on terms with the flying Monica Greenwood. Representing the two dominant teams of the race so far, they seemed content with the race situation, and the two leaders started to work well to establish a gap, now aided by their teammates back in the bunch, which almost came to a crawl as the Das Hansling riders fanned out across the road. Those two leaders continued to work well together, and they took it in turns to chip away at the course, and they were mastering the technical sections, gaining time every single lap. That gap continued to grow over the next few laps, and with only 2 laps remaining, it was clear that the breakaway was destined to make it all the way to the line. Coming to the final lap, Amy Gornall led Greenwood along the back of the course. She was looking over her shoulder, keeping the pace high to guard against a late attack. The duo rounded the final corner together, and Greenwood slotted into the lead just before the final turn. She was accelerating hard coming into that finishing straight and opened up a small gap to Gornall almost immediately. And try she might, Gornall couldn't get back on terms. Greenwood held her lead all the way to the line. Behind Joe Tinley of Pro Noctis, Gornall's teammate rounded out the podium, winning the bunch sprint for third. And we caught up with Greenwood after the race.
Monica, congratulations on the win. It was quite a long attack that you went out for. Talk us through the thinking there.
Yeah, I thought I'd change it up. I naturally sit quite far forward, so I decided I was going to sit a little bit further back tonight and just kind of watch the race a little bit and then just whack it after half an hour basically, and worked pretty well.
Here's your top 10 from the night's racing. Monica Greenwood proved the strongest of the two-rider breakaway, and the win in Sheffield is confirmation of Greenwood's form this season. It was a good night for the two standout teams this season so far as well, with Das Hansling and Pro Noctis both landing 4 riders in the top 10. Thanks very much for watching. If you want to see all the best racing analysis and behind the scenes action from the British scene, please subscribe, and we'll see you next time.